Hi, this is Hannah Cruz at the Church Musician's Assistant. Yesterday, we started a 6-day challenge to write a choral descant on a hymn tune of your choice, as well as a keyboard accompaniment to go with that descant. Yesterday, we started with step number 1, which was assess the hymn. So we did that together. Now today is step number 2, which is boring title, but super necessary. Label the chords, because we have to understand the harmonies of the tune before we can write a really effective descant. So reminder, I'm using the hymn tune Eventide, which is translated into the text Abide with Me most often. So that's what I'll be using as an example. All right, so let's get into it.
If you're a little out of practice with writing in chords, that's completely understandable. And I have a pretty simple way to do this that takes the overwhelm out of the process. So, what we're going to do is break the hymn into phrases. This hymn is pretty easy to do that with because each phrase is basically one line or 4 measures. So right now we're just going to look at the first line. Okay, so start with the beginning. Start at the beginning with the first chord. So what is the first chord? Well, we're not going to use Roman numerals. We're not going to get all fancy. We're just going to use letter names. So we've got E flat, B flat, and G, which makes an E flat major chord. So let me write that in, E flat. Now we're going to go to the end of the phrase. Going to go all the way here. And what is that chord? It's the same one, E flat. E flat to E flat is the trajectory of this phrase. Now, we're going to go to the interior measures of this phrase and figure out what the first chord of each measure is. We've already done measure 1. Let's go to measure 2. We've got C, G, and E flat here, which makes the chord what? C minor. Okay, I like to use the little minus symbol, kind of a jazz notation. And the next measure starts with an A flat, E flat, and a C, which makes what chord? A flat major. A flat. Now, all we have to do is fill in the remaining chords and try to let go of the suspensions and the complications, passing tones. Just notate the main chords. So, for example, in this first measure, we have a B flat, a D, and a G. That G is it's a passing tone, and basically this chord is just B flat 7, right? You've got B flat and A flat here, the D and the F. So we're going to call that B flat 7, that whole section, second half of the measure. Okay, next measure. After the C minor chord, we've got a G, E flat, and B flat. Now, in some, that's just an E flat chord again, but it's over a G. Don't worry about writing in inversion numbers and all that. Just say E flat over G. Another jazz thing to do. Going on to the next measure, we've got A flat, then B flat, then C minor 7, or let's do the little minus sign, C minor 7, and then a B flat over D. Okay, and we're done.
Once you've done the first phrase, continue with that method throughout the entire hymn. So, first measure, last measure of the phrase,
first chords of the interior measures and then fill in the rest, and use letters for chords rather than numbers and numerals and so forth, because the reason we're doing this is we want to know what chord tones we can use safely in our choral descant. So the way we've written the chords here is most helpful for our ultimate goal.
Great job! You have successfully completed day number 2 in this process. So now you get to take a break and wait for the next step to come out tomorrow so we can complete that part together. But before you close out this video, comment below and tell us what is your preferred method for notating chords when you come to a new hymn or you're working with a new hymn to arrange it. How do you go about figuring out the chord tones, and how do you notate those things? What works for you? Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.